Hello and welcome to my presentation. My name is Khadija Mahmouzada, and today I want to present you an interesting topic which is called Can Your Genes Predict Depression? And my aim is to inform you about genetic heritability of depression, support of these scientifically approved articles. And so let's start. Here I got a table of contents including introduction, scientific inquiry, social inquiry, and conclusion. And before starting, I want to see you possible answer for this question: can our genes predict our depression? And at the end of my speech, the answer is going to be obvious for you all. And in introduction, I want to explain you what is depression, the types of it, and the reasons why it occurs with a survey that I conducted among 34 students. And so, what is depression? Depression is a serious medical condition which leads to shifts in our souls, in our, for example, activities, productivity of our activities that we're doing, and at the same time reduction in our energy. And the World Health Organization reported that nowadays 280 million people are suffering from depression. That's why it's really a serious problem, and this term has been around for 350 years. And it has two main types: endogenous depression and reactive depression. And people often encounter endogenous depression because of external factors, for example, social lifestyle, environment, trauma, or stress. And but reactive depression is caused by internal factors. At the same time, it's also called biological depression. And internal factors are or brain chemistry, at the same time, or genes. And to see what students' opinion about this issue, why it occurs, I conducted a survey among 34 students, and out of 34 students, 24% of them told that stress is the main cause of depression, while only 8% of them, like the respondents who choose genetics, is really lower. And it's due to lack of understanding how genes can influence depression. And in scientific inquiry part, I added gene studies that can be helpful for us to discuss can depression be genetic or not. And first gene studies is a study which is conducted by Scopus and Media Research. This 62 study gene catalog, and to conduct the research, first of all they reviewed materials from 1968 to 2023, and then while reviewing materials, they carried out an experiment including 62 genes, and at the middle of the process, they realized that 49 genes had a uniqueness, and they extracted, as the process was approaching to the end, they extracted 13 genes which had higher biological relevance, like higher genetic risk, and at the end they found a serotonin hormone and brain growth hormone. However, they told that this is not the main cause, like genes did not only affect them. At the same time, external factors also affected them. And at the same time, Euro-American Studies, which was conducted from 2006 to 2016 by collecting data from 6,977 people, whose 57% was women, and the respondents were categorized by their answer to this question. Did you receive high or low maternal warmth? Or was your financial status low or high? And did you have any bad habits, for example, drug abuse or smoking, before you turned 18? And was your parents educated or not? And overall, this graph shows their answers. It can seem complicated, but it shows that if you have higher genetic risk, you suffer more than people who have normal genetic risk. And yeah, in the social inquiry part, I'm going to explain you why it is necessary and how we can deal with it. For example, we can compare two people, the person who has high genetic liability for depression and second one who have low genetic liability for depression. And let's imagine both of them are fired. First person who has low genetic liability can easily move on and look for other opportunities, while person who has high genetic liability sits in despair and does not chase the opportunities that's in front of him, and seems like the whole of his life is ruined. And that's why implications of genetic connection is really important. For example, If you observe early symptoms of depression in your health, also you have a family background of who suffers from depression, early diagnosis is really important. Even sometimes diagnostic tests are really expensive. And after you give the diagnostic test, support and guidance, for example, you can hire your own family therapist or who can help you to understand your family patterns better, at the same time can create a special program for you. And telehealth therapy options is a one that is suggested by Research Link team. They suggested that sometimes people hesitate for going to in-person meetings. They can't easily open up when it's in person, but there's also online sessions too to provide people with a maintenance plan, which can be helpful for them too. And this is, in conclusion part, I want to tell you genes are not the whole picture. However, by understanding risks, further action should be taken. Sometimes there's stigma around it, and people think that it is the genetics tells all the things that are in vain. They are too expensive. But even they don't prevent it fully, they can help you somehow to understand early risks and take a further action. Because in this life, nothing is more valuable, expensive than our health. And this is my reference list. That's the articles that I used to create this presentation. And thanks for listening.